The ship was cold, not the kind of cold that comes from winter or ice. It was a different cold, a cold that came from metal walls and alien air. Yuna stood in the middle of the holding room and looked around with calm eyes. She was not afraid. The Velcor soldiers surrounded her. There were 12 of them. Each one stood over 7 feet tall. Their skin was dark purple, and their bodies were covered in thick armor made from a material that looked like black glass. They had 6 eyes each. All 6 eyes were fixed on Yuna. Yuna was small compared to them. She was a young woman from Earth. She had short black hair and a simple face. She wore the gray uniform of an Earth cargo pilot. Nothing special, nothing dangerous. At least, that is what the Velcor believed. The commander of the ship walked into the room. His name was Rock. He was bigger than the other soldiers. His armor had golden lines on it, showing his high rank. He moved slowly, with confidence. He had captured many prisoners before. Humans, however, were new to him. Rock stopped a few steps away from Yuna. He looked down at her with all 6 of his eyes. His mouth, which was wide and full of small, sharp teeth, curved into something like a smile. "So," Rock said. His voice was deep and rough. "You are a human." Yuna did not answer. She just looked at him. Rock walked around her in a slow circle. His heavy boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. "We have heard stories about your kind," he said. "Stories from the outer colonies. Stories from traders and scouts. They say humans are different." He stopped in front of her again. "They say humans are dangerous." Yuna still did not speak. She kept her hands at her sides. Her breathing was slow and steady. Rock laughed. It was a cold, ugly sound. "But I do not believe those stories. Look at you. You are small. You are weak. You have no claws, no armor, no natural weapons of any kind. How could something like you be dangerous?" One of the soldiers behind Yuna made a noise. It was a sound of agreement. The others joined in. They were laughing at her. Yuna's expression did not change. She had been in situations like this before. She knew how aliens looked at humans. They saw small bodies and soft skin. They saw creatures that needed tools and machines to survive. They did not see what was underneath. Rock raised one of his large hands and pointed at Yuna. "You were found in a restricted zone. Your ship was transmitting signals into Velcor space. You are either a spy or a fool. Either way, you belong to us now." "I am neither," Yuna said. Her voice was soft but clear. "I was passing through. My navigation system had an error. I did not mean to enter your space." Rock tilted his head. "You speak our language well. Most humans cannot do this." "I learned it," Yuna said simply. "Why would a cargo pilot learn the Velcor language?" "Because I travel far. It is useful to understand others." Rock stared at her for a long moment. Then he turned to one of his soldiers. "Scan her." A soldier stepped forward. He was carrying a small device. It was shaped like a flat disc with a glowing blue center. He held it up toward Yuna and pressed a button. The device made a soft, humming sound. Blue light washed over Yuna's body from head to toe. Numbers and symbols appeared in the air above the device. The soldier looked at them and then looked at Rock. "She carries no weapons, Commander," the soldier said. "No technology of any threat. Her body shows standard human biology. Heart, lungs, brain, all normal." Rock nodded slowly. "Good. Then she will be easy to control." He turned back to Yuna. "You will be taken to our homeworld. There, you will be questioned. If you cooperate, you may live. If you do not..." He let the words hang in the air. Yuna looked at him without fear. "And if I do not wish to go?" The soldiers around her tensed. Rock's eyes narrowed. For a moment there was silence. Then Rock laughed again. "You do not have a choice, human. You are on my ship. You are surrounded by my soldiers. You have no weapons, no power, no hope." He stepped closer to her. His face was now just inches from hers. What could you possibly do? Yuna looked up at him. For the first time, a small smile appeared on her lips. It was not a nervous smile. It was not a scared smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something that others did not. You scanned my body, she said quietly. But you did not scan my mind. Rock blinked. What? Before he could say more, Yuna moved. She did not run. She did not fight. She simply raised her right hand and held it palm up in front of her. Nothing happened. The soldiers looked at each other in confusion. Rock frowned. What is this? Some kind of trick? But then, something changed. The air around Yuna's hand began to shimmer. It was faint at first, like heat rising from hot ground, but it grew stronger, brighter. The shimmer became a glow. The glow became light. The soldiers stepped back. Their weapons came up. Rock's eyes went wide. What are you doing? He demanded. Yuna did not answer. The light in her hand grew brighter still. It was not coming from any device. It was coming from her, from inside her. Rock felt something he had not felt in many years. Fear. Real fear. He did not understand what he was seeing, but he understood one thing. He had made a mistake. Restrain her, he shouted. Now! Use the beam! A soldier ran to the wall and pulled a lever. A panel opened, and a large machine came out. It was a scanner drone. It floated in the air on silent engines. On its front was a wide lens that glowed with golden light. This was the restraint beam, the most powerful tool the Velcor had for controlling prisoners. It could stop any creature in the galaxy. It could freeze muscles, lock joints, and shut down nervous systems. Nothing had ever escaped it. The drone moved toward Yuna. Its lens began to charge. Golden light gathered inside it. Yuna watched it come. Her smile did not fade. Fire, Rock commanded. The drone fired. And everything changed. The golden beam shot through the air. It was beautiful in a terrible way. The light was pure and bright, like liquid fire made solid. It moved fast, faster than any living thing could dodge. In the history of the Velcor Empire, no creature had ever escaped this beam, not once in 10,000 years. Rock watched with satisfaction. In a moment, the human would freeze, her muscles would lock, her body would become like stone. Then she would be completely under his control. He would take her to the homeworld. The scientists would study her. They would learn all her secrets, and the Velcor would become even more powerful. But the beam did not hit Yuna, at least not in the way Rock expected. Yuna raised her right hand. She extended one finger, just one finger, her index finger, and as the beam rushed toward her, she moved that finger in a simple flicking motion, left to right, quick and easy, like she was brushing away a fly. The beam split. Rock could not believe what he was seeing. The single golden beam became two beams. They curved away from Yuna, one going left, one going right. They passed on either side of her body without touching her. Then they hit the walls behind her. The walls exploded. Metal screamed and bent. Sparks flew everywhere. Two of the soldiers who were standing near the walls were thrown to the ground. Alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Yuna lowered her hand. She stood exactly where she had been standing before. Not one hair on her head was out of place. The room went silent except for the alarms. Every Velcor in the room was frozen, not by a beam, by shock, by pure, complete shock. Rock opened his mouth, but no words came out. His mind was trying to understand what had just happened, but it could not. It was impossible. The restraint beam could not be stopped. It could not be divided. It could not be controlled by anyone except Velcor technology. Yet this small human woman had just done all three things, with one finger. How? Rock finally managed to say. How did you do that? Yuna looked at him. Her eyes were calm, peaceful even. You asked me what I could possibly do, she said. Now you know. One of the soldiers, braver or more foolish than the others, raised his weapon and fired. A bolt of blue energy shot toward Yuna. She did not even look at it. She simply tilted her head slightly, and the bolt curved around her. It flew past her shoulder and hit the ceiling. More alarms, more sparks, more fear. "Stop!" Rock shouted at his soldiers. "Do not fire! Do not attack!" The soldiers obeyed, but Rock could see the terror in their many eyes. They were shaking. These were warriors who had fought in dozens of battles. They had faced death many times, but they had never faced anything like this. Yuna took a step forward. Just one step, but every soldier in the room took 2 steps back. Even Rock felt his body wanting to retreat. He forced himself to stay still. "What are you?" he asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Yuna considered the question. She seemed to be thinking about how to answer. Finally, she spoke. "I am human. That is all. Humans cannot do what you just did. Our scanners show that humans have no special abilities, no powers. You are one of the weakest species in the galaxy." "Your scanners are old," Yuna said. "Your information is old. You know humans from 100 years ago, maybe 200, but we do not stay the same. We change, we grow, we evolve." Rock shook his head. "Evolution takes millions of years. Natural evolution, yes, but humans are not patient. We do not wait for nature to change us. We change ourselves." Rock did not understand. "What do you mean?" Yuna raised her hand again. This time she did not make a fist or point a finger. She simply held her palm open. Light began to gather there once more. It was soft at first, like a candle flame. Then it grew brighter, stronger. It changed colors: blue, green, gold, white. 200 years ago, Yuna said, humans discovered something. We found that the universe is made of energy. Everything is energy: stars, planets, bodies, minds, everything. And we learned that the human brain, with the right training, can touch this energy. The light in her hand pulsed. It was like a heartbeat made visible. At first, only a few could do it. Special people, gifted people. But we studied them. We learned from them. We found ways to teach others, to train others. We changed our schools. Our children learned to feel energy before they learned to read. She closed her hand, and the light disappeared. The room felt darker without it. "Now," Yuna continued, "every human can do what I just did. Some can do more, much more. We did not tell the galaxy. We did not show anyone. We wanted to be left alone. We wanted peace." She looked directly at Rock. Her eyes were no longer soft. They were hard, sharp. "But peace requires strength, and now we have strength." Rock felt cold. Colder than he had ever felt before. He had lived for over 300 years. He had seen empires rise and fall. He had fought wars that burned entire planets. But he had never felt as small as he felt right now. "The restraint beam," he said slowly. "It was designed to stop any living thing, any species, any power. How did you divide it?" "Your beam works by targeting neural pathways," Yuna said. "It locks onto the electrical signals in a body and freezes them. But my signals are not like other species. I can move them. I can redirect them. And when your beam tried to lock onto me, I simply pushed it away." She made the flicking motion again with her finger, like brushing away dust. Rock thought about all the weapons on his ship, the cannons, the missiles, the bombs. He had enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But looking at this woman, he knew with terrible certainty that none of it would help him. "What do you want?" he asked. It was the only question that mattered now. Yuna smiled. It was a gentle smile, almost kind. "I want to go home. I want to return to my ship and leave your space. I never wanted trouble. I told you the truth before. My navigation system had an error. I came here by accident. And if I let you go, then I will leave. And I will tell no one about this. Your empire will not be shamed. Your soldiers will not be laughed at. This moment will stay between us. Rock wanted to say yes. Every part of him wanted to say yes. But he was a commander. He had duties. He had orders from the High Council to bring any intruders to the homeworld. If he let this human go, he would be disobeying those orders. I cannot, he said. The High Council demands that all intruders be brought for questioning. Una sighed. It was a sad sound. I was afraid you would say that. She raised both hands now. The air around her began to shimmer again. The light returned, brighter than before. The soldiers backed away until they were pressed against the walls. Then I will have to show you more, Una said. I will have to make you understand. The light in her hands began to take shape. It formed into something solid, something real. Rock watched in horror as the impossible became possible once again. The light in Una's hands formed into a sphere. It floated above her palms, spinning slowly. Inside the sphere, colors danced and swirled like a tiny galaxy. It was the most beautiful and terrifying thing Rock had ever seen. This is pure energy, Una said. The same energy that powers your ship. The same energy that lights stars and moves planets. Humans learned to hold it, to shape it, to use it. She pushed her hands forward slightly, and the sphere floated toward Rock. He tried to step back, but his body would not obey. The sphere stopped just inches from his face. He could feel its warmth, its power. It made his skin tingle and his hearts beat faster. I could destroy this ship with a thought, Una said. Her voice was quiet. There was no anger in it, no threat, just truth. I could break it apart piece by piece. I could turn the metal to dust and scatter your crew across the stars. But I do not want to do that. She pulled her hands back, and the sphere returned to her. It sank into her palms and disappeared. The light faded. The room became normal again, but nothing would ever feel normal to Rock again. Why? Rock asked. If you have this power, why not use it? Why not conquer? That is what the strong do. They take from the weak. Una shook her head slowly. That is what the Velcor do. That is what many species do. But humans are different. We learned something important long ago. Power means nothing without wisdom. Conquest brings only suffering. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want to live in it, peacefully, quietly. Then why show me this? Rock asked. Why reveal your abilities? Because you gave me no choice. You captured my ship, you brought me here. You tried to use your restraint beam on me. You forced my hand. Rock thought about her words. She was right. He had forced this situation. If he had simply let her ship pass through, none of this would have happened. He would not know about human power. He would not be standing here, feeling like a child in front of an ancient being. The High Council will want to know about this, he said. If I return without you, they will ask questions. I cannot lie to them. I understand, Una said, so I will give you a choice. She raised one finger, just one finger again, the same finger she had used to split the restraint beam. Choice 1. I leave now. You tell the High Council that I escaped, that your beam failed. They will be angry with you. They may punish you. But you will live. Your crew will live. Your ship will survive. She raised a second finger. Choice 2. You try to stop me. You fight. You lose. And I will be forced to do things I do not want to do. Rock looked at his soldiers. They were watching him, waiting for his command. These were loyal warriors. They would fight if he told them to fight. They would die if he told them to die. But did he have the right to send them to their deaths for nothing? There is no choice, 3? He asked. No way for me to bring you to the High Council and satisfy my duty? Una was silent for a moment. Then she nodded slowly. There is one other option, but it requires trust. What option? Let me speak to your High Council. Not as a prisoner, as a guest. As a representative of Earth, let me show them what I have shown you. Let me explain who we are and what we want." Rock blinked. "You would do this? You would go to our homeworld willingly?" "If it means peace, yes. Humans have hidden for too long. Maybe it is time to step into the light. Maybe it is time for the galaxy to know the truth about us." Rock considered this. It was a risk, a huge risk. The High Council might react with fear. They might see humans as a threat that needed to be destroyed. But they might also see an opportunity, an ally, a partner. "Why do you trust me?" Rock asked. "I tried to imprison you. I am your enemy." "You were doing your duty," Yuna said. "I do not hate you for that. And I can see that you are not a cruel being. You could have hurt me when I was captured. You did not. You could have let your soldiers torture me for information. You did not. You are a soldier, but you have honor." Rock felt something strange inside his chest. It took him a moment to recognize it. It was respect. This human had every reason to hate him, but she did not. She saw something in him that even he had forgotten was there. "If I take you to the High Council," he said slowly, "you must promise not to harm them, even if they react badly." "I promise to defend myself," Yuna said, "but I will not attack first. I will not kill unless there is no other way. This is the human code. We do not start wars. We end them." Rock turned to his soldiers. "Lower your weapons." They hesitated. One of them, a young soldier named Tal, stepped forward. "Commander, are you sure? This creature is dangerous. We should contain her. We should—" "She could have killed us all," Rock interrupted. "She chose not to. That tells me more about her than any scanner ever could." He looked at Yuna. "I will take you to the High Council, not as a prisoner, as a guest. But I warn you, they may not be as understanding as I am." Yuna smiled. "I have dealt with difficult councils before. I will be careful." Rock nodded. He turned to Tal. "Prepare a guest chamber, the best one we have, and spread the word to the crew. This human is not to be harmed. Anyone who touches her will answer to me." Tal looked like he wanted to argue, but he was a good soldier. He saluted and left to follow orders. Rock looked at Yuna one more time. "You are either the bravest being I have ever met," he said, "or the most foolish." Yuna laughed. It was a soft, warm sound. "Humans have been called both, many times." She walked toward the door, moving past soldiers who quickly stepped aside to let her pass. She moved like someone taking a walk in a garden, not like someone who had just faced an entire armed squad. At the door, she stopped and looked back at Rock. "Commander, I want you to know something." "What?" "When your beam fired, I could have sent it back to the drone. I could have destroyed the machine and everyone near it. But I split it instead. I divided it and sent it into the walls. Do you know why?" Rock shook his head. "Because destroying is easy," Yuna said. "Any creature can destroy, but controlling, shaping, guiding, that takes skill, that takes wisdom. That is what humans learned when we gained our power. The strongest hand is the one that does not need to strike." She turned and walked out of the room. Rock stood there for a long time, thinking about her words. Outside, the stars continued to burn, and the ship continued to fly. But inside Rock's mind, everything had changed. Humans were not weak. They had never been weak. They had simply been waiting. And now, the waiting was over. The journey to the Velcor homeworld took 3 days. During this time, Yuna stayed in the guest chamber that Commander Rock had prepared for her. It was a large room with a window that looked out into space. She spent many hours watching the stars pass by. The crew of the ship was afraid of her. She could feel their fear like a cold wind whenever she walked through the halls. They stepped aside when they saw her coming. They lowered their eyes. They whispered to each other when they thought she could not hear, but Yuna did not blame them. She remembered when humans had felt the same way about other species. Fear of the unknown was natural. It was how all living things survived. On the second day, Rock came to visit her. He stood at the door of her chamber, looking uncertain. Yuna invited him in. "I have sent a message to the High Council," Rock said. "I told them about you, about what you can do." "How did they react?" "They did not believe me at first. They thought I had lost my mind, but I sent them the recordings from the ship's cameras. They saw the restraint beam. They saw you split it." Rock paused. "Now they are afraid." Yuna nodded. "I expected that. They have called every leader in the Empire to the council chamber. Generals, scientists, advisors, everyone. They want to see you for themselves." "Good. The more who see, the more who will understand." Rock sat down on a chair near the window. He looked tired. Yuna realized that he had probably not slept much since her capture. "May I ask you something?" he said. "Of course. You said that every human can do what you did. Is that true? Are all of your people this powerful?" Yuna thought about how to answer. "Not all humans are the same," she said. "Some are stronger than others. Some have trained more. Some have natural gifts that others lack. But yes, every human on Earth has the ability to touch energy. The youngest child can light a candle with their mind. The oldest elder can move mountains." Rock closed his eyes. If humans wanted to conquer the galaxy, could they? Probably. But as I told you, we do not want that. We have seen what conquest does. It brings pain. It brings death. It makes enemies that last for generations. We chose a different path. The path of hiding. The path of peace. We hid because we knew that if the galaxy learned about us too soon, there would be war. Other empires would see us as a threat. They would attack before we could explain. So we stayed quiet. We stayed small. We let others think we were weak. Rock opened his eyes. "But you are revealing yourselves now. Why?" Yuna looked out the window at the passing stars. "Because we cannot hide forever. And because I believe the time is right. The galaxy is changing. Old empires are falling. New ones are rising. Soon, there will be conflict on a scale not seen for 1,000 years. Humans will need allies, and allies need to know the truth." On the third day, the ship arrived at the Velcor homeworld. It was a massive planet, purple and gray, covered in cities that shone like jewels. Millions of ships filled the space around it. This was the heart of the Empire, the center of Velcor power. Yuna was taken to the council chamber in a small transport ship. Rock accompanied her. He had insisted on staying by her side. He said it was his duty, but Yuna knew it was more than that. He had become curious about her, maybe even protective. The council chamber was the largest room Yuna had ever seen. It was built inside a mountain, carved from black stone and decorated with gold. 1,000 seats rose in circles around a central platform. Every seat was filled. Thousands of Velcor watched as Yuna walked to the platform. The High Council sat at the highest level. There were 7 of them. Each one was ancient, their purple skin faded to gray, their eyes dim but still sharp. The leader of the council was named Vok. He was the oldest Velcor alive, over 800 years old. "Human," Vok said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You stand before the High Council of the Velcor Empire. Commander Rock has told us impossible things about you. He says you can control energy with your mind. He says you split a restraint beam with one finger. Is this true?" Yuna looked up at the council. She was not afraid. She had spoken before councils before. Human councils, yes, but the principle was the same. Speak clearly, speak truthfully, show strength, but not aggression. "It is true," she said. "Every word." Whispers filled the chamber, thousands of voices speaking at once. Vok raised a hand, and the chamber fell silent. "Show us," Vok commanded. Yuna nodded. She raised both hands in front of her. Light began to gather around her fingers. It grew brighter and brighter until it filled the entire platform. The Velcor in the nearest seats leaned back, their eyes wide with fear. The light rose above Yuna's head and formed into shapes, stars, planets, moons. She created a miniature solar system floating in the air above her. The planets orbited the star. Moons orbited the planets. It was perfect, beautiful, real. Then Yuna closed her hands and it all disappeared. The light faded. The chamber was left in shadows. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Vok leaned forward in his seat. "How?" he asked. "How is this possible? Humans are weak. Our records show this. Our science proves this." "Your records are outdated," Yuna said. 200 years ago, humans discovered that the mind can touch the fundamental energy of the universe. We learned to feel it, shape it, control it. We changed ourselves. We evolved. Not through nature, but through choice. "Why did we not know about this?" another council member demanded. "We have spies in every corner of the galaxy. We have traders who visit Earth. None of them reported anything like this." "Because we did not want you to know. We hid our abilities. When your traders came, we showed them only what we wanted them to see. Simple humans, weak humans, harmless humans." The council members looked at each other. Fear and confusion filled their faces. Vok spoke again. "Why reveal yourselves now? Why come to us?" Yuna took a deep breath. This was the moment that mattered. The words she spoke next would shape the future for humans and Velcor alike. "I am here to offer friendship," she said. "Earth does not want war with the Velcor Empire. We do not want conquest or revenge. We want peace, trade, cooperation. The galaxy is vast, and there is room for all of us." "And if we refuse?" Vok asked. "If we see you as a threat and decide to destroy you?" Yuna met his eyes. For a moment, her gaze was hard, cold, powerful. "Then you will fail, and many will die on both sides. I do not want that. I do not think you want that either." Vok was silent. The chamber was silent. The future hung in the balance, waiting for someone to tip it one way or the other. Finally, the old leader spoke. "We must discuss this. The council will consider your words, human. You will have our answer by morning." Yuna bowed her head slightly. "I will wait." As she was led out of the chamber, she felt the eyes of thousands following her. Some were afraid, some were angry, but some, she noticed, looked at her with something else. Hope. Maybe this would work after all. Yuna did not sleep that night. She sat by the window of her guest room on the Velcor homeworld and watched the 3 moons rise over the purple mountains. The room was comfortable, but she could not relax. Too much depended on what the council would decide. Commander Rock came to see her just before dawn. He looked even more tired than before. His 6 eyes were dim and his movements were slow. "The council has been debating all night," he said. "I have never seen them so divided." "What are they saying?" Rock hesitated. Then he spoke honestly, as he had learned to do with this strange human. "Some want to accept your offer of peace. They see the wisdom in it. They know that war with humans would be costly, perhaps impossible to win." "And the others?" "The others want to strike first. They say that humans are too dangerous to exist. They want to gather every ship in the Empire and attack Earth before you can prepare." Yuna nodded slowly. She had expected this. Fear made people do terrible things. It made them attack what they did not understand. "What do you think, Commander?" she asked. Rock was quiet for a long moment. Then he sat down across from her. "I think that I have seen something on this journey that changed me. I watched you split a beam that has never been stopped. I watched you create stars from nothing. I watched you show mercy when you could have shown death. He looked at her with all 6 of his eyes. I think that if humans wanted to destroy us, we would already be gone. The fact that you are here, talking instead of fighting, tells me everything I need to know. Yuna smiled. Thank you, Rock. You are wiser than many of the leaders I have met. I am just old enough to know that wisdom is better than pride. A messenger arrived shortly after sunrise. Yuna and Rock were summoned back to the council chamber. The walk through the streets of the capital city was strange. Word had spread about the human visitor. Thousands of Velcor lined the roads, watching her pass. Some threw insults, some threw objects, but the guards kept them back, and Yuna walked calmly through it all. The council chamber was even more crowded than before. Every seat was taken, and more Velcor stood along the walls. The air was thick with tension. Vok, the council leader, stood at his seat high above the platform. He looked even older than yesterday, as if the night of debate had taken years from his life. Human, Vok said. The council has reached a decision. Yuna stood in the center of the platform. She kept her hands at her sides and her face calm. Whatever happened next, she would face it with dignity. We have debated long and hard, Vok continued. Many voices spoke. Many opinions were shared. There were those who called for war, those who called for peace, those who called for waiting and watching. He paused. The chamber was silent. Not a single Velcor moved or breathed. In the end, we chose wisdom over fear. We chose the future over the past. Yuna felt relief wash through her body, but she did not let it show on her face. Not yet. Vok raised a golden staff that he held in his right hand. The Velcor Empire hereby offers its friendship to the people of Earth. We will open trade routes between our worlds. We will share knowledge and resources. We will work together as partners, not as enemies. A sound rose from the crowd. It was a mixture of cheers and angry shouts. Not everyone was happy with the decision, but Vok slammed his staff on the ground, and silence returned. This is the will of the council, Vok declared. Any who oppose it oppose the empire itself. There will be no war with humans, not today, not ever. He looked down at Yuna. Do you accept our offer, human? Will Earth stand with the Velcor Empire as allies and friends? Yuna stepped forward. She raised her right hand, and light gathered around it, soft and golden. Not threatening, just beautiful, a sign of her power and her control. On behalf of Earth, she said, I accept your offer. Our people will work together. We will learn from each other. We will grow stronger together than we ever could apart. She looked around the chamber at the thousands of Velcor watching her. Some were still afraid, some were still angry, but many looked at her with new understanding. But I must give you a warning, Yuna continued. Not a threat, a warning, a piece of truth that you must carry with you into this new future. Vok frowned. Speak. Yuna lowered her hand. The light faded. She stood before them as just a woman, a small, simple-looking woman from a small blue planet. Humans are your friends now. We will honor this alliance. We will protect the Velcor as we protect ourselves. But there are rules that must never be broken. She began to walk slowly around the platform, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Never attack Earth. Never harm human children. Never enslave human people. Never betray our trust. These are not requests. They are laws. Laws that cannot be broken without consequence. She stopped and looked up at Vok. The Velcor Empire is powerful. Your ships fill the stars. Your armies are vast. But Earth has 8 billion people, and each one of them can do what I have shown you. If you break our laws, if you betray our friendship, then every human alive will come for you, not for revenge. For justice. The chamber was completely silent. No one dared to speak. Una smiled then, a soft, warm smile. The fear faded from her eyes, replaced by kindness. But I do not believe you will break these laws. I have seen honor in your people. I have seen it in Commander Rock. I believe I will see it in the Velcor Empire. She turned to Rock, who was standing at the edge of the platform. Commander, I would like to return to my ship now. I have a long journey home, and there are people waiting for me. Rock nodded. He walked forward and stood beside her. Together, they turned to face the council. The human will be given safe passage through our space, Rock announced. I will escort her myself. Vok nodded slowly. Go in peace, human. Tell your people what has happened here. Tell them that the Velcor Empire offers its hand in friendship. Una bowed her head slightly. I will. And I will tell them something else. I will tell them that there is hope in the galaxy, that not all aliens are enemies, that peace is possible. She walked toward the exit, Rock at her side. At the door, she stopped and looked back one last time at the thousands of faces watching her. Earth sends its regards, she said softly. Then she stepped through the door and was gone. Outside, the sun was rising over the purple mountains. The sky was turning gold. Somewhere among the stars, Earth was waiting for her return. Una looked up at the sky and smiled. The hiding was over. A new chapter was beginning. And for the first time in 200 years, humanity would walk openly among the stars. Whatever came next, they would face it together.